Hello, I'm Sachin Sirohi. In this video, I will discuss data scientist interview from United States of America, USA. And I want to share the experience of mostly asking questions. The interview basically based on the R programming, Python programming, and some fetching data using Y API. So it's a final round of the interview basically. Before this interview, the company give a descriptive paper, questions basically, which have to solve the given time. Interview mostly related to the data scientist. So the knowledge should be strong and your confidence also should be strong. So see the video.
Hi Sachin, how are
Hi.
you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I hope you didn't have to wait too long.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, nice. So I guess Bran and Brad, they'll be joining any moment now.
Okay.
Let's just wait for them. Where are you staying currently, Sachin?
Yeah, actually, I'm staying in Meerut.
Okay.
More analyticals applications while adding more analysis or adding a different data model, something that we would feed through this tool so that clients can make use of.
Okay. So not a problem. Actually, I have both of kind of knowledge regarding the backend and like the front end, and along with the data scientist profile also, including with the R and the Python. I have a sound knowledge how like we can fetch out the data from the backend and to elaborate and to integrate with the Python and to perform some data modeling to analyze the data with the help of like request, how we can request the data from like the backend levels, and how we can test them, how we can perform some statistical things, and how we can further some statisticals and operation and the like machine learning things. So not a problem for me.
That's pretty much, I guess, the entire process.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of little details that are kind of being skipped over, but they come up. Which they just at any project they kind of come up. But that's the general overview, the general process, at least initially.
I have understood all these things, like how we can like to fetch out the data and how we can perform the HTTP request, like the get and post, and to fetch out the data in R or Python, it depend on me, and to perform some like and to problem solving of the clients, like what the exactly like the problem is coming. And after that to like how we can request and set up and handle all of them, and also use the Shiny for the front end and some other tools basically for like better visualizations in like for the data analytics. So one more question also, like my voice is clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question also, like when we like ready the model of like the data, actually what's like occurring and the problem, what kind of the problem is arising. So after that we will have to create any kind of the dashboard and like to analyze the data model also.
You mean like a reporting dashboard of issues as they come up, like fails, like requests, or just you mean that kind of thing?
Okay. And okay. So I want to know also like what kind of the technology, the particular like if you are discussing about me like the HTTP request, the backend level, it's a Python or a Java or some other kind of the backend level.
It's okay. So the backend, it's Apache.
Apache.
And it's Apache web server with Open CPU kind of integrated into it. And Open CPU allows you to serve up R functions as HTTP requests. So through Apache. So it's Apache web server with R kind of ingrained into it.
Okay.
And that's it. And that's the back end. The front end's moving to entirely just regular old JavaScript, some jQuery, HTML, regular front end tools, and then for this piece, that's it. Yeah, that's the stack.
Yeah. So I have all these knowledge regarding the projects. So
JavaScript, these kinds of requests to a backend.
So always the reason to to update my knowledge, or to also to face some more challenges in to learn some new things. So it's the main reason.
Okay. Yeah, you must keep yourself very busy.
Yeah, actually, I always like to looking some new things in my career, and whenever any kind of the things comes arise in my in my profile related to any technology, so definitely I like to join them and to give my times basically. But if I start on these projects, so definitely I'm seeing that lots of things are available, and definitely it's also good for me to handle all these things related to the backend level and the data analytics level process. And I think I also understanding in these projects only those person can work sufficient knowledge regarding the front end back end level and also the data scientist level also. Then after can run the APIs and to fetch out the data. And if any problems are occurring in a backend level, so capable to handle any selectors level and the callback function level and some events handling level, is there any problem in a JSON level, so can handle them. Do not interrupt the IT team basically in a backend level again and again if the particular person have a sufficient knowledge of the backend also. And after that, to analyze the data, when the data fetch completely, then to load in a R programming with some specified libraries and to test them and to ready a model basically.
Okay. Yeah, we encourage at this company. We encourage the people to teach themselves and learn new things on the go, because it's very important to be able to problem solve on your own in some ways. Yeah. So that's good that you kind of have that already, a natural tendency to do that anyways.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just updating time to time myself to learn new things whenever new things come in a IT sector. I always to learn these things.
So if you're always learning new things, what would you say is your biggest strength? What do you always find yourself going back to or feeling most comfortable? What, like technology or language or
yeah. If I'm talking about in a data scientist, so I'm also searching out new challenges in data science role Python and the R. And if I'm talking about in a backend level, so in Node, including with the Node, I'm also checking the CRUD operations level process on a large data. If I'm talking about related to the Python, so Django level, templates level, URLs, and the forms level, and the several security arises are there.
Yeah, it looks like this, and that ends up rendering into just the front end. It looks almost exactly the same as this HTML version over here once it renders.
Yeah.
I bet we're basically taking this, dropping it because it's got some limitations we don't want, and then converting it over to this HTML version. Yeah, and that's, I guess, the initial part of the job anyways, would be that. And this is how the front end gets generated in HTML. This is how the back end gets generated. You just have to define the objects.
Yeah.
Define them, and it renders everything for you. I guess the hard part about it would be just kind of locating the actual endpoints. So, yeah, the endpoints for this particular tool. What's the data endpoint? Okay. Locating the chart functions. Pulling them over to OpenCPU. Okay. And then kind of going through and finding, I guess, the values that those parameters take on. Kind of so you can fill out this object. It's kind of tedious. It takes a little time, but once you have that, it pretty much renders all the front end.
In my like when we are just like testing the APIs, actually I'm just using like the some other tools, some inbuilt tools with like VS and also like the API testing tools like Postman, etc. And but yeah, like you suggest the Open CPU API Explorer is like provided the tool by the company to fetch out all these things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like that. It's like Postman kind of, but for Open CPU.
And after fetching out the data and like to on a front end level and the back end level process when the completed, and after that we have to like analytics with Python or like the R. Yeah, it's like choice for like the data scientist, like any programming skills can use them.
And so right now the backend's completely in R, and it's kind of hard to move or pivot off of that because of so much code that's written in it. A lot of our forecast tools and modeling has already been done in R. So just to drop that completely would be it'd be too much of an effort and not much of a reward there. So it'll stay. We do use Python for other things and newer things that come on. I'd imagine we're going to start migrating more of it to Python, the newer things that we work on. But there is going to be a mix, I guess, the answer to that, of R and Python.
Okay. Then after that, what kind of the things we have to process? Like the API testing backend and the R and like the some controls and some front end level techniques. Then after?
I mean, I guess for the conversion process, that would be it. But there would always be ongoing maintenance updates. Like people want another feature, a variation of the model, so they'd be updated. And this is just this project, the May project. I mean, there's other projects that are currently ongoing and that are upcoming. So they would also, I guess, eventually be involved. But right now, I guess initially it would just be the May project, the conversion specifically.
Okay. The conversion of the backend data into the front end and to analyze them.
Right. Well, I mean, the analysis is mostly done. It's mostly just kind of like defining these input and output objects, you know, to hook into the backend that's already written. So you wouldn't have to change too much of that. That's the initial, I guess, couple of months. After that, I guess there'd be additional tools built, new charts, maybe new models, whatnot, that would be integrated.
Right. The goal is this May interface is for our clients, and in order to support and maintain the tool, you know, we want to convert it out of the R environment, the R Shiny platform, because we don't have that many R developers here, and it's not as scalable. We have a large, you know, a good web team here. We have an IT team here, and we can leverage those resources if we can get it in a language library that's more familiar. So we want to get it out of this R, and we need help. We need people that can, you know, walk through the process, problem solve it, you know, and the more of us, the full stack sort of, you can go from the back to the front and see, find the problems and work through and figure out how to whatever, because even though there's a template, there's a pattern for all of these.
Like that's the library that we have built in JavaScript that kind of handles this conversion process. It kind of handles the coverage, it handles the requests to the back end and the processing of the data that comes back. But yeah, and behind this function, that's an AJAX request.
Yeah.
And then
Brian, just maybe I'm asking a dumb question, but all I see on my screen is the page with example project realization tracker. Is that what you're sharing?
Project realization tracker actually not showing, but it's like on the left tabs.
Really, I don't know. The green box is around my entire screen.
I'll show you what I see here.
Yeah, maybe a screenshot of what you guys are seeing, because I can't tell.
This is what I'm seeing. I know, yeah, you have new monitors that have caused some challenges. That's what I see.
Oh, you don't even see this new thing I just dragged over to it. That's wild. Okay. Let me try drag it. I mean, like I'm looking at my VS Code editor here, and it doesn't exist on y'all's screen.
I just thought I should point out maybe the Emperor's clothes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
VS Code actually is opening in background.
Can you guys
Oh,
see it now?
you
though?
can see it. I can't see the VS Code. I only see those two screens. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing real quick and then try and reshare because
Yeah, that's unusual. Yeah, he got two new monitors that require he's going to need a new graphics card, according to IT. And
Yeah.
so there's some unexpected
Yeah.
challenges there.
that's probably what's causing
Okay.
it. But
Now I see your VS Code on top of it.
okay, good. So yeah, what I was kind of trying to explain was this is the mayApp library that we use. And this is, mayApp.run is a wrapper function that makes an AJAX request to this endpoint right here. This is the endpoint. And it passes in these
function. You have also used the then and something.
Promise functions. We're using them. Let's see. I have some helper functions that do. Well, still.
So the JSON data is also created here.
Yeah, some of the functions are handled as promises, so it makes the request and then passes back the promise for the return data. And there's a couple of places that gets used, and that's just so we can chain them together. So, so this is like whenever you make your selections, then you hit the run button, right? And this run function up here gets called, and then this is the run function, runs all this stuff. Some pre-run checks to make sure the values are correct or filled out. Then it comes down to this application. Yeah. Does the run, then it passes it to then handle the data after the run, then build the page outputs, and then re-enable the controls. Yeah, so the promises that we're building were just so we can chain them together like that, nice and neat. So that's handle data after run, promise session data, just define the input. It's pretty simple at this point. Like an entire tool is almost completely built with these input and output objects. Just define these inputs, define the outputs, and boom, an application.
So it's application inside the data available.
Sorry, say again.
Sachin, could you repeat?
Yeah, actually, I'm just talking about like this is like only the specific application like for to implement the R programming concepts and the Python programming concept, or like we have a different projects to like work them.
So okay, for the conversion process, this is an example of a tool that's been converted, and it would be just basically this project would be working with this this mayApp library that we built.
Okay.
To hook into the backend, Open CPU backend that we built, to make the request and render the outputs. For this, that's for this particular project. I guess there would be other projects that would be coming up later on. Like maybe somebody wants an additional feature in this tool. That would be an example. Like building out some new charts, new models. I guess there's also some natural language process. I think that's for the conversion process, the initial bit that you probably work on if you came on board. That's pretty much it.
So
that's good.
No more question.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anurag, anything?
Not really. I'm pretty good. Brian, do you have anything?
No, that was my part. Just
pretty
much all I had.
Okay, perfect. So Sachin, please wait to hear back from us. Someone from Sahil or someone will contact you on the next steps.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
In this video, and you understand very well the strategy to become the data scientist and how you have to face the interview. So thank you very much.